Well, Canadians are living longer than ever before, which is great news. But from a financial planning standpoint, that could create some challenges. We're joined by Celeste Yuzdepski, Associate Portfolio Manager with My Private Wealth of Raymond James, to discuss how to plan for financially secure longevity.
Thanks, Mike. Yes, longer life expectancy is one of the biggest shifts in retirement planning over the last few decades. You know, a generation or two ago, people might have spent maybe 10 or 15 years in retirement. And today it's not uncommon for people to spend 25 or even 30 years after they stop working, which is really like planning for a second adulthood.
No doubt about it. So the challenge, I assume, then becomes how to stretch retirement savings over those extra years?
Exactly. So we often think of risk in terms of the market swings up and down, but actually one of the biggest risks is longevity risk, which is the possibility of outliving your money. So add to that the rising cost of living, climbing healthcare expenses, and that desire to stay active in retirement. Wow, those dollars can really disappear quick.
No doubt. Now, we do have public health care here in Canada, but there are still many costs that can pop up and are unanticipated, right?
Yes, there are. Things like prescriptions, your mobility aids, and even some in-home care aren't always fully covered. And in the later years, the possibility of needing, say, maybe assisted living or long-term care can be a major expense. So you don't want to always assume your retirement expenses are always going to drop later on. It is true they tend to drop some, but they could go up dramatically depending on the level of care one needs later on in life.
Makes sense. So then how do you plan effectively for a long retirement?
Well, one way to think about it is in phases. So sometimes described as the go-go years, the slow-go years, and the no-go years. So in the early years, people are often very active. They travel, pick up new hobbies, usually spend a bit more on leisure. And that's when retirement tends to be the most expensive. Then you've got the middle years, and activity might slow down a little, so spending could drop. But also your healthcare costs often start to creep up. And then in the later years, your expenses might be more on health and support services rather than travel and entertainment. So making sure you have that financial plan that accounts for these stages will make sure that you're less surprised.
Makes sense. So what's the takeaway then for the viewer for all of this?
Well, the key message is retirement is no longer a finish line, but it's a new chapter and a very long one. We used to create retirement plans for clients using an age expectancy of 85, but now we plan till 90. So by planning ahead, you can enjoy those extra years without constantly worrying about whether your money will last you.
Gotcha. So basically what I'm hearing you saying is that living longer is both a blessing and a challenge?
Exactly. So longer life means more opportunities. You've got more time with your family, more chances to travel, more experiences to enjoy. But it also means we need to be a little bit more thoughtful and intentional about financial planning, so those years are fulfilling and secure.
Thanks so much. Celeste Yuzdepski is an Associate Portfolio Manager with Raymond James Limited, member of the Canadian Investor Protection Fund. You can find her online at myprivatewealth.ca.